What exactly is in Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson's big beautiful bill having to do with Medicaid? Is it going to affect you? Are you on Medicaid? In this video, we're going to look at what the big beautiful bill is going to do to Medicaid. We're going to watch some video clips about it, what Joni Ernst thinks of people who are on Medicaid and people in general, and the just cruelness and meanness of the Republican Party. Let's go ahead and watch a little of this video, and I'll comment as we go.
Well, we all are going to die.
Is waking up and they are not happy. At a recent town hall, Republican Congresswoman Ashley Hinson made the mistake of saying the quiet part out loud, and House Republicans are getting clobbered. Let's take a look at this first clip.
I was also proud to vote for President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill last week. This is a generational investment. This is a general investment. This is your time. Okay.
This is a crowd of Republicans. This is a crowd of Trump voters. These are Ashley Hinson's own constituents, and they are booing her. And when she tries explaining to them, hey, Trump's fighting for you, the crowd says, no, he's not. Take a look.
The election, I think Americans overwhelmingly rejected the status quo for the country. We were seeing an open border, high inflation. We were seeing hardworking men and women in Iowa and our country feel like their voices were not heard. Families in Iowa have told me for the last 4 years that we want to make sure we have safe streets, we have affordable groceries and gas, and that kids have opportunity to be able to live out the American dream. And that is what President Trump is delivering for us. And the president is, I believe, fighting for you and fighting for me. I'm fighting alongside of him. And I think God saved President Trump's life in Butler. I think he saved his life in Butler, Pennsylvania for a reason. I think that he is helping us to save and redirect the future of our country. He is helping deport criminal illegal aliens rather than letting them roam our streets freely. He is ending the abuses of taxpayer dollars rather than treating your money like monopoly money. And he's unleashing America.
Let's take those one by one. He's deporting criminal illegal aliens, so he says. You know, Stephen Miller, his little bald Nazi lieutenant there, wants to deport 3,000 people a day, but there's just not that many criminal illegal immigrants in the country. So they are deporting legal immigrants. And a lot of those legal immigrants do jobs that Americans are not going to do. That's for another video. That's beside the point. The reason these people are booing this congressperson so much is because of the big beautiful bill and the $800 million in cuts to Medicaid. You know, and the Republicans are trying, MAGA Mike Johnson, they're trying to frame this as it's not cuts, we're just making Medicaid better, or whatever terminology they use. But what they mean by that is they're putting in work requirements where people have to work a certain amount of hours every 2 weeks or every month to get their Medicaid. You know, Medicaid is health insurance for people who can't afford to get health insurance. The work requirements and all the changes to Medicaid effectively result in $800 million in cuts to Medicaid. So people are going to die from that, and that's that Joni Ernst cut. We're all going to die, you know. Anyway, let's get back to it. Here's David Pakman.
Blue District? This is not a protest. These are Republican voters, and they're sending a message, which is they're not buying Trump's sales pitch anymore.
Republicans are spreading lies about Medicaid work requirements. Here are the facts. 64% of adults on Medicaid already work. 64%. Many recipients work in jobs that don't typically offer health insurance and pay little, which makes Medicaid vital. These people aren't freeloaders mooching off the system, as Republicans claim. They're barely scraping.
This is Robert Reich, by the way, a scholar, and he could, explain this better than me. He was in the Clinton administration, but this guy, he's been fighting for common people to get better benefits and unionize and all kinds of stuff for years. So if you don't know who Robert Reich is, start following him on YouTube or whatever. If you watch me, you'll like Robert Reich.
buy. And those on Medicaid who aren't working have a reason. 12% of recipients are primary caregivers. 10% have an illness or disability. And 7% are attending school. Despite these facts, Republicans are using their new budget bill to implement the first ever federal work requirement for Medicaid. But this has already been tried in the states, and it wasn't pretty. When Arkansas enacted work requirements, there was no significant change in employment rates because, again, Medicaid recipients already have high rates of employment to begin with. What do work requirements actually do? They kick eligible people off their health coverage due to burdensome and confusing reporting requirements. In Arkansas, more than 18,000 people lost coverage, primarily because of the hoops they had to jump through. If Republicans really wanted to put people to work, they would make it easier to access Medicaid, not harder. After Ohio expanded Medicaid, enrollees had an easier time finding and holding down a job. Healthcare access means people can manage chronic conditions, afford medications, or receive mental health treatment, all of which helps people keep their jobs. But Republicans don't care. The work requirements in their big, beautiful budget bill aren't really meant to put people to work. They're a shady way of kicking people off Medicaid to fund tax cuts predominantly for the wealthy.
And there it is. $800 billion in cuts, kicking people off Medicaid so Trump and his friends and Elon Musk could enjoy more tax cuts. So if you make $50,000 or under per year, the tax cuts almost don't affect you. If you make $55,000 to, I think, $150,000 or something like that, you'll see a small tax cut. But if you're over that, you're gonna, it's like $30,000 to $60,000 a year in tax cuts for you. So who is that for? I mean, how many of your friends out there are making a couple $1 million a year?
So the next time you hear Republicans spouting lies about Medicaid, know what they're really up to.
To take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Yep, they always go to Jesus Christ, don't they? That's their fallback when nothing else works. Well, Jesus Christ. But anyway, that's Joni Ernst. In a town hall last week, somebody asked her about the Medicaid cuts, and she said, "Well, everyone's going to die." She left out the part about how she makes, a couple $100,000 a year, not to mention the millions she gets from big companies and stuff lobbying. And she's not going to die that soon because she's got the best health care in the world. But, those people with Medicaid, they're the poors. So they're going to die. Okay, guys, thanks for watching The Spin Cycle. If you like that video, watch this one. Subscribe. See you next time. Peace.